We'll now look at solving rational equations. And when we're solving a rational equation, our first step is to find the least common denominator. When we do that, we're going to multiply both sides by that least common denominator, and then our rational equation will turn into something that we're a little more familiar with. So let's look at a few examples. Here we have a rational equation, 1 over x plus 1 plus 1 over x minus 2 is equal to x plus 3 over x minus 1 x plus 1 x minus 2. So we're going to start by actually multiplying by the least common denominator. The least common denominator here is everything that's on the bottom of a fraction. So the first fraction has an x plus 1 on the bottom, the second has an x minus 2, and then the third actually has both of these. We've already taken them into account. So when we multiply, we end up with 1 x plus 1 x minus 2 all over x plus 1 plus 1 times x plus 1 x minus 2 over x minus 2 is equal to x plus 3 times x plus 1 times x minus 2 all over x plus 1 x minus 2. And when we do this, we can start to notice things cancel. Here we have an x plus 1 on the top and bottom, here x minus 2, and the third fraction has both x plus 1 and x minus 2. That leaves us with x minus 2 plus x plus 1 is equal to x plus 3. And now we just have a linear equation. 2x minus 1 is equal to x plus 3. I can subtract x from both sides to get x minus 1 equal to 3, and then add 1 on both sides to get x equal to 4. So there's my final answer, x equal to 4. And when we're dealing with rational equations, it's always important that we double check our answer to make sure we didn't end up with a 0 in the bottom of a fraction. And you'll notice if I stick in 4, my denominators are 4 plus 1, which is 5, and 4 minus 2, which is 2. So this answer is valid. For another one, 2 plus 5 over x minus 4 is equal to x plus 1 x minus 4. The only thing on a denominator here is x minus 4, so I'm going to multiply everything by x minus 4. So I have 2x minus 4 plus 5x minus 4 over x minus 4 is equal to x plus 1 x minus 4 over x minus 4. Once again, things cancel. When I distribute out this parenthesis, I have 2x minus 8. This fraction is just a 5. And then finally, at the right, I have an x plus 1. So 2x minus 3 is equal to x plus 1. Now we just have a linear equation. Subtracting x gives me x minus 3 is equal to 1. And then adding 3 gives me that x is equal to 4. Once again, we need to double check if I stick in this answer, and you'll notice I'll have 2 plus 5 over 0, which causes a problem. So this is actually not a solution, and there's no solution here. So when solving these rational equations, it is possible to get what's called an extraneous solution, a solution that doesn't actually give us a correct answer, which is what we had here. Here, x over x minus 5 plus 3 over x plus 2 is equal to 7x over x squared minus 3x minus 10. So it's important to note here that first step is to factor this last fraction, which does factor to x minus 5x plus 2. And then we can find our common denominator. We have an x minus 5 on the bottom and an x plus 2. So when I multiply x minus 5x plus 2 over x minus 5 plus 3 x minus 5x plus 2 over x plus 2 is equal to 7x x minus 5 x plus 2. We're running out of room here. Over x minus 5x plus 2. I can then start canceling things. I'm left with the first fraction has an x times x plus 2, which once we distribute, x squared plus 2x. The second one, once I distribute, 3x minus 15 and then my last one is 7x. So we have x squared plus 5x minus 15 equal to 7x. I can subtract 7x from both sides. I'm left with x squared minus 2x minus 15 is equal to 0. And this actually factors into x minus 5, x plus 3. So that tells me that my two solutions are x equal to 5 and x equal to negative 3. Once we stick them back in, however, you'll notice that this first one, the x equal to 5, gives me 0 on the bottom of a fraction, so my only answer is x equal to negative 3. Let's do one more. Once again, our first step is to make sure all the denominators are factored. This last denominator factors to x plus 1, x minus 3. And then we'll multiply by the least common denominator, which is everything we see on the bottom of a fraction. The first fraction has an x plus 1, the second has an x minus 3, and then the third, we've already included both the x plus 1 and x minus 3, so there's nothing new to add. So, once I multiply, I have 1 times x plus 1, x minus 3 over x plus 1 plus x plus 1, x minus 3 over x minus 3 is equal to 4x x plus 1, x minus 3 over x plus 1, x minus 3. I can then start canceling things that are the same on the top and the bottom. The first fraction, I'm left with x minus 3. The second one, once I distribute, x squared plus x. And then the last one is a 4x. This leaves me with x squared plus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0, or is equal to 4x. Subtract 4x over, and I have x squared minus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. Well, this factors into x plus 1, x plus 3. So my two answers, x equal to negative 1 and x equal to 3. However, you'll notice both of those result in a 0 on the bottom of a fraction in the original problem. So this one actually has no solution as well.